A-doodle-doodle-da-da. A-doodle-doodle-da-da-da. Yeah, yeah. Gerald writes, Dear Ask Amy, first of all, happy Thanksgiving and happy Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate. This year we're staying home and just celebrating the holidays via Zoom calls to our long distance family. But my wife and I are cooking Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner at home, and every year we worry about our cats and our dogs. We want to celebrate with them and give them safe treats. And I have a pretty good idea of what they like, but I'm concerned that I might give them something that could be bad for them. Can you help? What are some things to avoid giving cats and dogs over the holidays? Thank you very much for writing, Gerald. These are great, great questions, and I have recorded a couple of other Ask Amy's on table treats that you can safely give your cats and your dogs, and you can refer to those. But that's a great question because, we really want to share the love and the bounty with our special pets that share our heart and our love, particularly this time of year when we can't hug our human loved ones, but our pets are there for us. And it's really tragic when they get into something that they shouldn't, because we've done our best to keep them safe, but it really, really hurts our heart if we try to give them something wonderful and we end up poisoning them. So it's an excellent question, and your question, hopefully, and these answers are going to save some pet lives and relationships. So some of the top things to watch out for: chocolate, especially for dogs. Dogs have a sweet tooth and they love sweet things. So all of the delicacies that we fix this time of year with chocolate is going to be an issue for dogs. Too much chocolate can poison dogs. It can cats too, but dogs have a sweet tooth, cats don't. So it's more an issue with dogs. Now, chocolate contains theobromine, and this is a similar type of thing to caffeine. And what it does is it speeds up the metabolism. So a dog that has eaten too much chocolate can become hyperactive, speeds up his heart, he may vomit, he may have diarrhea. In the worst cases, he could collapse and die. Now, theobromine is in the highest concentrations in baker's chocolate, and that's what we use to make chocolate frosting, right? So the milk chocolate isn't as toxic, and some dogs can get away with eating that, but we just don't want to do it at all. Just kind of put the chocolate out of reach and save that for the human family members and avoid the chocolate treats for our dogs. Xylitol. Now, that's a very fancy word that many people probably are familiar with now, because in our society we're trying to lose weight and not eat so much sugar. So xylitol is an artificial sweetener that gives us the same flavor. The problem is it is highly toxic to dogs and to cats. So if you have a low-calorie food, or you've cooked with a sugar substitute, make sure that it is not xylitol, because that can cause problems in our cats and our dogs. Again, dogs more susceptible because they have the sweet tooth. Xylitol is often found in chewing gum, in candy and baked goods, also in toothpaste. Don't let your dogs get into that. There's special toothpaste for dogs, usually chicken flavor, something that they love and we don't. So don't share that kind of stuff with them. What happens is it can cause an insulin release, and that can lead to liver failure. So just check your the labels on things. Something that else you will find xylitol in: some peanut butter. And this is something we often treat our dogs with, peanut butter. So make sure that if you are using peanut butter to treat your dogs, that it does not have xylitol in it. Make sure it really does have real sugar, okay? Macadamia nuts. I'm not a fan, but many people are. But macadamia nuts are toxic to dogs. They can cause weakness, depression, vomiting, tremors, and hyperthermia in dogs. And signs usually appear within about 12 hours of ingestion, and they can last up to 2 days. So this is something to absolutely avoid. If you have dogs, I would just not have macadamia nuts in the house at all. Okay, now dogs usually can eat some of the other nuts within moderation, almonds, pecans, walnuts, but these also have a lot of fat in them. So overindulging can lead to diarrhea, pancreatitis in some dogs. So with care, some nuts, but macadamia nuts, keep them away. Grapes, raisins can cause kidney failure in dogs. I have a friend and colleague who lost her dog to this because the dog got into wild grapes that may be in your neck of the woods. So be careful, be aware of this. We don't know why exactly it affects some dogs and not others. We used to actually use grapes as a treat for dogs, a training treat. We know better now. So if you read somewhere, some text, anything about using grapes or raisins, just don't do it, because there's no way to predict. It can really be devastating for your dog. And often we don't know what has happened until it's too late to reverse the signs. Avocados. You wouldn't think of that. I'm in Texas. We use a lot of avocados here. But it can cause heart damage and death in some pet birds. If you have birds, you have parrots, do not give them avocados. Usually I talk about dogs and cats, but many people are avian lovers, so do be aware of that. This time of year when you're cooking, be careful, keep the garbage out of reach for the dogs, because you would put foil over the turkey, or there's string that holds it together, and it's all flavored. The aluminum foil is flavored, has grease on it. The string has grease on it, maybe gravy on it. All of these things can't, if swallowed, if your pet gets into it, can tie them up literally inside, cause extreme damage and problems, and an emergency room visit on the holidays is not on your to-do list. So just be aware of that. Something that dogs do, and it's not necessarily deadly, but it's very, very uncomfortable and may require an emergency room visit, is eating raw bread dough. Okay, yeast dough. Because here's what happens. Dog eats it. Oh, it's tasty, yummy, loves it, and the flavor of yeast, all of that, and it's raw dough, and it's wonderful. And what does the yeast do when it gets warm? Inside the tummy, it rises. So even a small amount of raw bread dough can cause excruciating pain when it rises and swells and all of that, and you will probably need a veterinary visit to help relieve your dog. So these are just a handful of the things. I will also include the phone number for the pet poison control that the ASPCA takes care of, and you can call if there's an emergency. Get your veterinarian locally on speed dial, and you can find out more information. I will make sure there is more information here in the comments below. If you have any questions about what is toxic and what isn't, put it in the comments below and I will get you an answer. And in the meantime, please subscribe and send me any of your Ask Amy questions. Thanks, and have a safe and wonderful and uplifting holiday season. I do 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 da da. I do do.